Good morning. I really can't wait for tomorrow. Because tomorrow, there's no waking up early. There's no, having to get up at all, really. I could sleep all day tomorrow. I won't, but I won't have to be thrusted awake and forced out the door. Because unlike most people, I have tomorrow off. Oh, I like this song. Anyways, yeah, poultry lab later. Gonna play with some chickens. Hope to not get salmonella. Good morning. No, wait, I've already said good morning. Oh, it doesn't matter. This morning actually kind of sucks. Because you know what? I got up at 7:30. Figured I would eat, watch a little bit of TV, kind of wake up. And then I was done with everything, unloaded the dishwasher, and it was 8 o'clock. I don't have school until 11. I don't leave here until 10. I had 2 hours to kill. And yeah, it wasn't fun. I don't know why I got up that early. I could have just rolled over in bed, passed out until 8 o'clock. But, oh well. Mornings kind of suck when you do this. I mean, I could spend the next half hour left studying, but when I get there, I'll have a half hour to study. So, really, there's no real point. I don't know. And now I've been arguing with my mom about Christmas plans, which I never have a problem going up there and seeing her as long as she doesn't schedule the plane at like 11 o'clock in the morning. Because then I don't get Christmas with my dad. I'm already going to only see him for 2 days really before I leave because of my Disneyland trip with Sam. But yeah, just as a heads up, that week might be down. I'll upload everything I can, if I can. I'll remind you guys later. But man, having extra time on your hands kinda sucks when you got nothing to do. Anyways, yeah. Midterm. Yay. Alright, so I got a question for you guys. If, you're riding down the street on your bike and there's another bicyclist on the left side of the lane, are you going to pass on their left or are you going to pass on their right? Like, literally, like, the lane is here. They're probably here compared to it. Are you going to pass on the left? Well, then common sense says no. Well, I was doing a U-turn. So I was the bicyclist in the very leftmost part of the lane without going against traffic. And as I went for my U-turn, somebody tried to go around me by going into opposing traffic. I mean, honestly, who thinks like that? It's like the people who try and cut across the circle as people are going around it. They try and do this. It makes no sense. Anyways, Poultry Lab should be starting in about 40 minutes, maybe. I don't know what time it is. It should be interesting. Apparently we are grading eggs. I've never seen something other than a double A egg, have you? We'll find out.
2 years old, so they usually lay every day on average, once a day, and that's usually their peak production. So they'll sometimes lay like clockwork, but not always. And she's still a laying hen, and so because we have a disease-protected flock, she's actually not going to go back to the flock. She's being adopted out. Same thing with the other bird in the other room. We're not getting rid of these guys. So because they're laying hens, they have been handled, but they haven't been handled a lot. They're not like pet chickens. So she may get a little bit, a little bit panicky when I try to get her, but they actually don't bite, so that's a good thing. And when you reach in to grab a chicken, if anybody puts the chicken back in and decides to take them back out, you always take them out head first and put them back in head first. Does anybody want to guess why?
Because their wings can get caught on the
Yeah,
inside.
because if you pull them out backwards and they extend their wings, then you could just break their wings, and that would be bad. So you try to pull them out head first. And generally what you'll do is, if you're left-handed, you'll do the opposite. But if you're right-handed, you kind of try to grab underneath between her legs, and then put your hand on top. Okay, foot is stuck. You know, you're like my cat trying to go in and out of a cat carrier. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you love this. Okay, and then you can just kind of hold them to your side. It's generally not too good of an idea to hold on to their legs because then they just push back, okay? So, like I said, we've got, you kind of want to try to keep your hands on top of their wings. But we have a couple anatomical features that I'm going to go over. First, I would like to talk about the wings. So we have some primary flight feathers, which are the ones that are towards the tip here. A couple of them have the black on them, black pigment on them. And those can be clipped. Sometimes people will clip every single one. Sometimes you'll clip every other one. But you don't normally clip the secondary feathers, which are back here, because these ones will help a chicken fly up. And yes, they can fly. They just don't fly very far. They don't fly very well. But the secondary feathers kind of help them fly down. So if they do get on top of a fence, you don't clip those ones so that they don't land like a rock on the ground when they try to come back up. Okay? Then we have the saddle, and that's this area back here, which is kind of like where you'd put a saddle on a horse. You have their thighs are right here. It's kind of hard to see, but the thighs up here, they're whatever, drumsticks, I guess you could say. And then down here, when you hold her, you'll notice that there's like a bony ridge, and that's called the keel bone. And the keel bone is actually where the breast muscles that help attach the wings and provide movement for flight muscles attach. So you want to be kind of gentle in that area because you can bruise, and that can cause some pain and discomfort, and it can be broken. So don't push down with your top hand up with your bottom hand, because that could be bad. Next thing that you may notice is that these guys are actually called leghorns, but this is a female, so she doesn't really have much of a horn. She just has this little stub right here. Can you guys kind of see it? It's covered with a little bit of black, okay? This little knob right here, where my thumb is. Okay, so it's kind of a small knob on them. We have the earlobe, which is right here. You guys can kind of see it on this side. It's that like kind of wrinkly skin part right there. This is a little bit iridescent, but on this one it's white. So we can expect that she will lay white eggs. She seems to be quite comfortable right now. They have the wattle, which is down here. Okay, that's the red part down there. And then they have the comb on top. And sometimes the comb is actually quite a bit bigger. And a lot of time they'll actually clip the comb, and they do that so that they don't get trapped and caught on things. So if it doesn't get, if it does get caught, then of course you can get infection, and that can cause problems later on. A lot of birds in the industry will actually have their beaks clipped, and that's to prevent them from fighting with other birds, ripping their own feathers out. But one of the consequences, and something that's actually being looked into right now, is how that affects their ability to keep themselves clean. Clean as in keep their feathers clean and healthy, but also prevent the ectoparasites such as mites, and they have other kinds of like avian-specific mites that they have from actually being disposed of or kind of gotten rid of. So if they have a kind of a blunt beak, it makes it a little bit harder for them to preen themselves. And you guys may actually see some mites on these animals. It's almost impossible to get rid of mites on birds in general, okay? So don't be afraid though, they won't cause problems for you, but it's, you know, if you see it, just FYI, it's not going to bite you, it's not going to eat you, it's not going to make you sick, okay? So when you guys pass them around, if somebody wants to put some gloves on, oh, they also have the sickle feathers, which are these tail feathers here, and they're not actually sickle shaped in females, but the males, because they curve around and hang down, they're called sickle feathers. So those are the back feathers down here. And then if you guys are interested, you can actually see the exit to the digestive system, and she actually might be in the process of, or soon to be laying an egg, okay? So, where did it come from? It could be 2 yolks in this one.
A big chicken and a little chicken.
Not usually the difference between a big and a little chicken. Usually it has to do with the age of the chicken. So this one probably came out of a chicken that just started laying, okay? So she doesn't have...
Big chicken and a little chicken.
Usually by the time they actually start laying eggs, they're pretty full grown, okay? So they may get a little bit heavier, but they're not going to get too much like bigger in terms of their actual size. So usually the age of the hen is directly related to the size of the egg, okay? So small egg, gigantic egg, okay? And another issue of quality too is that this may not actually fit inside your normal carton. And this egg would bounce around too much inside your normal carton. So these ones can't be put into the same box, obviously. And you won't normally see eggs that are this big inside a normal carton, even for the jumbo ones. This is huge.
What do they do with them?
Well, honestly, they probably just crush them up and send them somewhere else. Or alternatively, sometimes those inedible eggs, or not the inedible eggs, but the grade B eggs will actually be cracked into like the liquid egg products. And for restaurants that make, you know, huge batches of scrambled eggs, or even at the DC, you know, sometimes they'll get like scrambled liquid egg, and then they'll just, you know, cook it up in batches. Okay, so that's one of the things that you can do with eggs that don't fit. They can actually sell eggs. Then sometimes, I don't know what exactly the specifics are behind it, but some of them are called peewee eggs, and those are the smallest ones. And then we have small, medium, large, extra large, and jumbo. So there's actually 6 different sizes of possible eggs. So when we're candling, we have, this is the air cell gauge, the official air cell gauge. It's a piece of paper, try not to tear it. And we have the candling source, okay? So it's pretty focused light, and it's a little bit warm, but it's not too bad. And when you hold the egg up to it, you can kind of see a little bit of the defects in the egg shell. So you guys can kind of see there's some like cracks here, and I can actually feel that there's a ridge here. So there might have been a little bit of back pressure when this hen was trying to lay an egg that might have kind of like, she might have been pushing a little bit to get it out, and that might be one of the reasons why it's got that shape. Usually the air bubble is on, it should be always on the round part. That's why I try to draw it on the round part on the outside. Okay, so when you're actually grating the egg, you hold this up and you try to see how far down it goes. So in this case, it would be considered a grade AA, okay? And that's just because, can you guys kind of see it? Because the bubble is smaller than the actual size of the 1/8 of an inch depth that is required by this measuring device, okay? So those are the things that we're actually looking for. And sometimes you can see what's called the yolk shadow, and this one's not a very good one because it's kind of moving, or it's that dark ridge of shell there is kind of obstructing the view a little bit. But maybe with a more normal sized egg it's easier to see. Oh, okay. So you can kind of see the yolk shadow right here, right? So a very prominent yolk shadow is not really a good thing, okay? So you kind of want to not see that. And also, as I rotate it, it kind of moves. It moves with it. And that's not always a good thing either, because that means that that chalaise, that membrane, kind of looks like the umbilical cord. That means that that's not providing a very good attachment. So it's sinking too much. It's moving around too much. That's not a good
more
thing.
center than it is right now.
Yeah, and it's possible because this one was upside down for so long that that's why it sank so much. So this could just be a very old egg. So I want you guys to all...